Hello, World Wide Wicket Human Resources. How can I help? Yeah, yeah, I have time to talk. No, you are not interrupting anything. Yes. Yes, that is correct. Well, I am supposed to be in an interview right now, but they didn't show up. No. Nope. No, no, you are accurate. They didn't call, didn't reply back to any of my emails. It is a no call, no show. Yes. Yes, I informed the front desk. Well, it was supposed to be about a 30-minute interview, but that was something like maybe 27 minutes ago, so how can I help? Right. Yes, we have been having some difficulty in filling and maintaining the mid-level assistant associate production agent manager position. Yes, I understand that it has been around 8 months since we started trying to fill this position, and we've only successfully hired 2 employees for this position, and that they have both quit. Yes. I don't know. It seems like a great job, really great salary, has all of the normal company benefits. It kind of boggles my mind why we haven't been able to find the perfect candidate for the position. I mean, we are very particular and we do want to make sure we find the right fit. But then after we've gone through our process of finding the right fit, they don't seem to want to stay. It doesn't make sense to me. Well, we've had plenty of interest, but it seems like each person that we've interviewed has something that really doesn't suit them for the many levels of communication and flexibility that the position requires. Right. That is correct. They did not show up for the interview today. I don't know why they didn't show up. They didn't call, they didn't email, they made no contact to inform me of them canceling, rescheduling, or not being available for the interview. I don't know why. That's the thing. If they don't tell me, I that's the thing about not showing up. We get no data or information of why they didn't show up or contact us because they never showed up to contact us. Yes, yeah, I can give you a multitude. I can give you a multiverse of reasons why they may not have shown up for the interview. I don't know every detail of their life. I pretty much only have the information that they submitted along with their resume. So if they did provide a cover letter, I may have that information, but a lot of them don't give a cover letter. So I only have very limited information to go off of before even scheduling the interview. And then I often don't do the call screening or the rescreening to set up this interview. So yes, there are a lot of reasons why they may not have shown up. Everything from they overslept and are embarrassed, all the way to they just got another job offer and have started their new position and forgot entirely about this interview. I don't know, maybe they forgot to set their clock back. Maybe they have jet lag. Maybe they have a kid that was running a fever and needs to be picked up from school. Maybe they just won the lottery. Maybe they had another interview right before this one that's going late. Maybe they have a uh, I don't know, a coupon for something and it expires today. Maybe they are having a meet cute with the future love of their life and their destined loved one in a cafe, and they realize that living the possibility of a relationship with that individual and getting to know that person matters so much more to them than any job or occupation could. Maybe they have a sudden acute onset amnesia and forgotten who they are, where they are, and that they have a job interview scheduled. Maybe they are sick. Maybe they are so sick that they can't pick up the phone or email. Maybe they're in a coma. Maybe they've realized that they just don't want the job. Maybe they thought the interview was later than it is. Maybe they never intended to show up at all and were just getting the schedule so they can verify that they're still looking for a job to maintain their unemployment status. Maybe they have severe anxiety or depression and are getting the medical treatment that they need right now and the care that they need, but they're unable to make it to this interview because they're with the doctor. Maybe they realize that their life is too short to spend on job interviews. Maybe they have been murdered. Maybe they've gone eaten by a monster. Maybe they've gone abducted by aliens. Maybe they have been kidnapped. Maybe they have gone into a car accident. I can talk about hypotheticals, maybes, and what ifs all day. I mean, the point is, if they don't show up, don't call, email, or show up this late. if they showed up this late for the interview, they probably aren't a good fit for the position anyway, for one reason or another. Because we're looking for someone with punctuality and discipline and reliability, and honestly, showing up 30 minutes late to an interview does not show us any of those things. Well, not contacting to cancel, reschedule, or say that you will be late. I mean, if they email saying, "Hey, something came up, I'm gonna be a few minutes late," that's something. Yes, it's not what we're looking for, but that's still something. We could reschedule, we could work with that, but no notification, 30 minutes late. If they showed up right now, that's a red flag, and we probably don't want to consider them for this position. Yes, I understand. Yes, we are doing our best. Is that all you're calling about? You just want to make sure that we're really working and doing our best to find the perfect person to fill this job? I mean, I can go over in detail why we didn't hire any of those previous candidates that have been interviewed, but I have already gone over that with a written report regarding that with my manager, and you can confer with them that, right? Yes, I understand that I'm not the only person here at this company interviewing professionals for this position. Yes. Yes. Well, that's exactly my point. I'm not the only one interviewing people here. We have gone through a multitude of candidates, and they have just not been the right fit for this position here at this company. No, I'm not making up excuses. I'm not. I'm not being defensive. I'm I'm not being defensive. I'm just a little frustrated at essentially being stood up for this interview. Well, I do want to remind you that a lot of people in the human resources department got sick with that cough that lasted like a month, and it kept on rotating through people in the department, and right. Yeah, no, a lot of them used up like all of their sick days. I'm just, yeah, it happened in the winter, like right after New Year's. I'm not saying that was from the Christmas party or the holiday party or that New Year's event. That's not relevant. We're not trying to track where the cough originated. We're not trying to find patient zero. What I'm saying is that our rate of interviews went down severely in the winter months, and hopefully it shouldn't happen again. No, I do not know why most of the candidates don't get the job. I don't think it has to do with our hiring policies. No. No, most of them don't leave comments at the front desk, so it's not surprising we haven't gotten any feedback on how we're conducting the interviews. You want me to audit the other interviews? Okay, what I'm saying is, well, if I'm doing that, then there's less time that I have to schedule interviews and conduct interviews for candidates. That means we have less interviews per week being done. Yes, I understand that they haven't been showing up like today, but that no, I really don't think we should consider outsourcing or using a recruiting company. I can make a spreadsheet and PowerPoint and explain why that's not a good idea. Yeah, no, it would take less time than it does to conduct an interview, probably. Well, but we have a full service HR department for a reason, and outsourcing it is only going to bring in more problems and fewer solutions because of how we manage our staffing. Yes, I understand. Look, I can explain some other time, and after I prepare some numbers if you want, I can give you a full pros and cons list as well as a cost analysis and the return on investment index, and overall why it's a bad idea for us as a company that hires so many individuals to try and go through a recruitment company. It's going to be costly, ineffective. Yes. Yes. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yes. It will cost us more money. Yes. Sorry, someone's at the door. I'll call you back to continue this, okay? Come in. Oh, you're here for the interview. You're talking about that interview that was supposed to be 30 minutes ago? Well, you are extremely late. Like the full time that I normally would have had for this interview has passed. You are very late. No, you are very late. You are very, very, very late. Like the interview's over. Right. No, you're too late for the interview. Well, I'm sorry that you got caught in traffic. That's very tragic and sad to hear, and I'm sorry for your loss. But, uh, but no, you're too late for the interview. The interview's done. What you could have called. Well, that's very unfortunate that your phone ran off battery, but charging it regularly is important, and it's ran out of battery because you lost your phone and your computer. And your neighbor's phone and computer has been stolen. And your car is in the shop. I thought you said you got caught in that's that's also very sad to hear. You could have let us know a little sooner. So this all happened today. Okay. Uh, I'm sorry. Say what? That's so sad. And they're hospitalized now. And did you do you need to take some time to be with them? And that's awful. Um, that's still not a. And you were also hospitalized. Wait, what? So you were also just recently hospitalized, and you just you just came from the hospital. You drove here from the hospital. I understand, right? You weren't driving. You don't have your car. You had Uber. Uh, you weren't. Yeah, you weren't the one driving. But really, if anything, we should reschedule the interview for another time. I don't think you're in a emotional state with all of that. I don't know if I'm in a clear emotional state after hearing all of that, just third hand, what you're going through. I feel like you have maybe too much going on at the time to really conduct this interview, and you're too late for this interview. I understand, but you're too late for this interview, and 2 minutes is not enough time to really conduct a full interview. I mean, you weren't supposed to actually get to my office. The front desk was supposed to stop you and state that you were too late for this interview. I'm actually surprised that you're here right now. It's normal policy to not forgive late interviews without notice. Yes, we would ask to reschedule. It doesn't matter if that no, the time does we would ask you to reschedule whether you were 5 minutes late or 15 minutes late. The fact that you are 30 minutes late is just I cannot answer that in any way professional. That's a very poor question to ask and rather unprofessional. Because what you're asking if I'm trying to tell you that you're not getting a job because you showed up 30 minutes late. You do realize that leading question means is a question I cannot answer. That's not a professional question. I'm not going to answer that. I can't say that. What I can say is that it is our normal hiring policy to reschedule a late interview because it throws off the schedule for the next interview that follows after you. Yes, I'm supposed to have another interview. Look, I respect your determination to get through all of that today and still show up, but I don't have the time for a full interview. You're late. The time slot we had scheduled, we have someone else scheduled. Now, if we have time to reconsider your resume, we will contact you to reschedule. You want to do the entire interview in 2 minutes. That's impossible. There's too much to go over. We've already spent 2 minutes explaining why I can't do the Can I spare 2 minutes? Sure. Yes, I can spare 2 minutes, but there's nothing that you can. You're sure that you can elevator pitch and provide me everything I need to know for this first interview in 2 minutes? All right. I'm going to ask you 3 questions and give me your absolute best answers to those 3 questions, okay? And you just give me the best you can. You only have 2 minutes, all right? Okay. How would you describe yourself in 3 words? All right. Punctuality is a critical part of this position. And here's a 2-part question. What motivates you to show up to work on time every day? And how do you make sure to achieve your goal of showing up in a timely manner? All right. And the last question for today is, why should we hire you? Now, you have a little bit of time left. Keep going. This is where you gotta really sell yourself. Come on. Anything else? Anything else you can think of? If you run out of things to sell yourself and talk about yourself on that's perfectly fine. But and that's all the time we have. Thank you so much for interviewing with us today. I hope you and your family feel better and get well soon. You should hear back from us in a couple of days. You will either receive an email from me or a phone call. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to send me an email. Yes, you are out of time, but you can always like, subscribe, and leave a comment at the front desk. You will get an email or a phone call in a couple of days. Thank you, and have a great week.